We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a bit of an update regarding Rhea Ripley and her Raw Women's Championship match heading into Money in the Bank 2021. While Rhea Ripley has seemingly been getting the better of her challenger Charlotte Flair as we continue to get closer to the highly anticipated Money in the Bank pay-per-view event, with Rhea playing mind games with Charlotte Flair, like we had touched upon in one of our previous videos, the consensus behind the scenes in WWE is that Rhea Ripley will likely be losing her Raw Women's Championship to Charlotte Flair at Money in the Bank 2021, and with the new rumors going around, it doesn't look like Vince McMahon or WWE have changed their minds about having Rhea lose her Raw Women's title to Charlotte at Money in the Bank. According to one of our sources, Vince McMahon has simply not been overly impressed with Rhea Ripley's reign as the Raw Women's Champion, and essentially feels like Rhea has failed to really establish herself as a top star in the women's division, despite holding the championship right now, and that it is time to take that title off of Rhea Ripley, and perhaps try to rebuild Rhea with a bit of a new character or persona after losing the Raw Women's title to Charlotte, to hopefully turn things around for Rhea Ripley and make Rhea a more interesting superstar for fans. Basically, Vince just does not feel like Rhea Ripley has worked in her role as the Raw Women's Champion, and that Rhea simply does not have the personality or charisma to carry the division at this point, and needs a lot of work to make her character more interesting for fans. So as a result, it looks like Rhea Ripley's Raw Women's Championship run is going to be coming to an end at Money in the Bank 2021 due to Vince McMahon feeling Rhea has been a bit of a flop as the champion. And let us know your thoughts and opinions, and not only on the new rumors going around that Rhea Ripley could be losing her Raw Women's title to Charlotte Flair come the Money in the Bank 2021 pay-per-view event. And do you agree with Vince McMahon that Rhea simply has not succeeded in her role as the top champion in the women's division on Raw, and that Rhea lacks that certain something to truly captivate fans? Or do you think that WWE are being a bit too hard on Rhea Ripley, and that she is doing a great job as the Raw Women's Champion? Well guys, it looks as though Jinder Mahal is far from being done in WWE, despite there previously being rumors that Mahal was being considered to be released, because on last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, Jinder Mahal was once again being promoted into a top spot out of the blue, as Jinder faced off against Drew McIntyre in what was a pretty solid match, up until the interference by Shanky and Veer, causing the match to end in disqualification. However, according to one of our sources, like it had been rumored for several months now, the WWE are in fact planning to move in the direction of a heated rivalry and feud between Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, heading into SummerSlam 2021, with Vince McMahon reportedly feeling as though Jinder and Drew could be a very intriguing feud for fans, especially given their history together. Now, by all means, Jinder Mahal looks as though he has gotten himself back into top shape, so he's more than ready to fully take advantage of this big opportunity WWE are giving him in the form of a high-profile feud against Drew McIntyre, who was just challenging for the WWE Championship. So it's clear WWE have some faith in Mahal that he will be able to perform at a high level once again. While the feud between Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre could really kickstart with a number of storyline scenarios, a new backstage rumor has leaked that Vince McMahon is planning for Jinder Mahal to interfere in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match later this month and cost Drew McIntyre the briefcase and contract, which is definitely a great way to keep Drew looking strong despite failing to capture the Money in the Bank briefcase, as Jinder along with Shanky and Veer would cost McIntyre the big opportunity, which is what WWE feel is going to be a great way to add some fuel to intensify the feud between McIntyre and Mahal. Now let us know your thoughts on the WWE moving in the direction of Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre for SummerSlam 2021, and do you like the idea of Jinder interfering in the Money in the Bank ladder match and costing Drew that coveted briefcase, which would basically allow for another superstar to win that Money in the Bank briefcase instead? We now have a bit of news regarding Eva Marie and Doudrop, and more specifically, Vince McMahon's opinion and viewpoint on the storyline between Eva and Doudrop. Now, according to a new backstage report, Vince McMahon is reportedly very happy with the current Eva Marie and Doudrop storyline over on Monday Night Raw, and that Vince is very impressed with Doudrop and feels she has massive potential in WWE, especially when paired with Eva Marie, who could eventually become Doudrop's manager. Apparently, at first, Vince was not overly sold on the whole proposed Eva Marie and Doudrop storyline, but since seeing it play out on television on Raw in recent weeks, Vince has now become a big fan and supporter of it, and fans should expect to see a lot more of Doudrop and Eva Marie on Raw in the coming weeks, with WWE apparently planning some big storyline developments for Eva and Doudrop, who's more known by her ring name Piper Niven. A new backstage report has indicated that Vince McMahon feels Doudrop, aka Piper Niven, can basically become what the WWE had originally planned for Nia Jax, as a very unique women's division star that would be pushed to the top, and Piper definitely has the in-ring talent and charisma to eventually warrant a big push on her own. And while some fans are not exactly too happy with her storyline with Eva Marie, her future in WWE seems to be bright, which is all that should really matter right now. And it is doubtful that this Eva Marie and Doudrop angle will last for too much longer despite Vince being a fan of it, and perhaps then Piper Niven could get pushed as a singles competitor. The anticipation and excitement is beginning to grow for the upcoming Money in the Bank 2021 pay-per-view event, and more so regarding the scheduled Universal Championship match between the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and the recently returning Edge, who is getting a one-on-one chance at the title against Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. There are lots of rumors going around about all the potential storyline surprises or swerves that could play out at Money in the Bank when it comes to this Universal Championship match between the head of the table Roman Reigns and Edge. And one particular rumored scenario is certainly shocking, but not completely unexpected or out of left field. According to a breaking new backstage rumor, there is talk behind the scenes in WWE to have Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso betray and turn on their tribal chief Roman Reigns, and help Edge win the Universal Championship from Roman, with the storyline here being that Roman Reigns' mistreatment of the Usos leading up to Money in the Bank will cause Jimmy and Jey to reach a breaking point and say enough is enough, and send a huge message to Roman Reigns by helping Edge win the Universal title at Money in the Bank 2021. And this is not too surprising considering just last week on SmackDown, Edge sent a message to Jimmy Uso that Roman Reigns is simply using him and his brother Jey, and that Jimmy should wake up and accept the truth that Roman's intentions are not in his or his brother Jey Uso's best interests. And the shocking storyline swerve of the Usos helping Edge win the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank 2021 to send a message to Roman Reigns is apparently very possible. And while Edge would reportedly not have a very long title reign, as Roman would eventually get the Usos back on his side heading into SummerSlam 2021, WWE feel a title change on SmackDown is needed to freshen things up a bit, and Vince McMahon feels Edge as the Universal Champion could draw some massive ratings for SmackDown leading up to SummerSlam, along with the fallout of the Usos turning on Roman Reigns and the inevitable repercussions that they will have to face with the head of the table.